long past the need for ordinary food. But this scent is unbearable. I hear the growl and immediately understand. Oh, we have a guest who hasn't eaten yet. I reach into the bag, grab a handful, and hold it out. Here, don't be shy, try my special snack. The Seven-Blade Master stares at the handful, his face cycling through shades of pale and green, but his hand moves on its own and takes it. He nibbles one piece with great caution, then his eyes go wide. This is a spiritual object infused with the essence of the Tao. He forgets entirely about his assassination mission and crouches on the ground, absolutely inhaling the rest. Wang Kai bares his teeth in protest. I quickly grab another handful and say soothingly, "Don't be stingy, share a little with our guest." V and Yara watch the whole scene unfold with deeply complicated expressions. This man is the Seven-Blade Master. The name alone used to make entire sects tremble, and now he is crouching beside a dog kennel fighting over dog chow. Just then, footsteps approach from outside the courtyard gate. Empress Medusa steps inside. She had rushed over after hearing reports of an intruder, and this is the scene that greets her. The Seven-Blade Master senses her presence and nearly loses his soul on the spot. He drops to his knees immediately. "This servant greets your majesty. I hear your majesty," and blink, then it clicks. Ah, it is her majesty. This humble commoner failed to greet you properly. What is that? Medusa's gaze falls on the diagram in my hands. I answer honestly, just something I picked up a moment ago. The Empress takes it and looks it over. Her expression shifts slightly. Then she looks at me, long and searching, and lets out a quiet laugh. "This is a rebel's banquet layout. My dear minister finds it offensive to the eye?" I nod sincerely. The colors are chaos. The layout is cramped. Not a shred of beauty. A glimmer of amusement passes through the Empress's eyes. She then places all her hopes for the birthday banquet squarely on my shoulders. V bites back a smile from the side. Yara looks away without expression. The Seven-Blade Master is still crouching by the kennel, half a handful of dog chow in his grip, unsure whether to eat it or not. The Empress glances at him once, then turns him over to the Imperial Guard. Several black-clad guards materialize without a sound and drag the Seven-Blade Master away. As he is hauled off, he stares longingly at the bag of dog chow. I shake my head. He really was hungry. Medusa walks over to me, her voice soft. "Whatever you need for the banquet, just say the word." I rub the tip of my nose, a brilliant idea suddenly forming. "Your Majesty, rest assured, this humble commoner will throw a banquet unlike anything anyone has ever seen." Curiosity flickers in her eyes, but she asks nothing more. She trusts this blind man who always delivers surprises. After the Empress leaves, I stare blankly at the diagram. V inches closer and whispers, "So what exactly is your plan?" I smile, mysterious as ever. 4 words. A celestial New Year gala. Yara and V both stare at me blankly. I offer no further explanation. I am already running the checklist in my head. Lighting, sound, stage effects, none of it optional. There needs to be audience participation. A prize draw. Maybe a comedy skit or two to get people laughing. The more I think about it, the more I crack myself up. This is going to be good. Meanwhile, that hideous diagram gets casually slid under the teapot. The table corner was a little uneven anyway. Waste not, want not. I pat the teapot with satisfaction. The banquet preparations are complete, and all that remains is tonight. But my mind keeps drifting back to that little pink rabbit. The Empress's spiritual avatar has always seemed too fragile to me. Taking advantage of the quiet afternoon, I close my eyes, activate blind mode, and stretch my senses quietly toward the Empress's chambers. I just want to check on that little rabbit. The golden orb of light is still there, the tiny rabbit still clutching its carrot, but this time, I notice its ears drooping weakly. Dark ashen threads coil around its body. Those gray threads are slowly eating into the golden light. I frown. This does not look right. Right on cue, the system chimes in. High-level spiritual power anomaly detected. Analysis, old wound unhealed, cold toxin residue present. Recommends soul-devouring blossom for supplementary treatment. That is when I remember. I already used that herb. So the Empress really does carry a hidden wound inside her. No wonder her spiritual avatar looks so weak. I open my eyes. I stroke my chin and think. The soul-devouring blossom is gone, and the seed the system rewarded me with was only planted 3 days ago. But there are other warming herbs in the courtyard. I should be able to brew something to ease the condition. I get up and feel my way toward the herb garden. With blind mode active, I can see the flow of spiritual energy even with my eyes closed. Every herb glows with its own distinct color in my spiritual vision. Carefully pick out several with strong yang energy and add 2 more to balance the blend. Yara spots me crouching by the herb garden and walks over. "My lord, do you need help?" I shake my head and say I'm just making a wellness tea blend. She asks nothing more and stands quietly at my side. I take the selected herbs, rinse them carefully, and place them into the medicine pot. I add spirit spring water and let it simmer over a low flame. With blind mode on, I can see the medicine properties merging in real time. Streams of colored energy weaving and spinning inside the pot, slowly condensing into a warm, amber-orange glow. As the medicine simmers, I find myself muttering under my breath. How does someone this young already have this many hidden injuries? Worse than mine even. She clearly hasn't been taking care of herself. The words barely leave my mouth when I hear a soft sound at the courtyard gate. Empress Medusa is standing at the entrance, in casual clothes today, her expression unreadable. She clearly heard every word. I scramble to my feet and bow, a little flustered. Your Majesty, what brings you here? The banquet isn't until tonight. She walks slowly into the courtyard, her eyes settling on the pot. What are you brewing? She asks, her tone casual. A wellness tea, I answer honestly. I scoop up a small spoonful to test the temperature, but she reaches out and takes the spoon naturally. Let me try. She brings it to her lips and tastes it slowly, her cool, composed eyes widening just slightly. This formula, I smile and explain. Just some warming herbs, good for the body with regular use. She sets the spoon down. There is a brief silence, then quietly. You know, don't you? Play dumb. Know what? She stares directly into my eyes, even knowing I cannot see, that I am Medusa, that I carry old wounds, that I have been deceiving you for a very long time. I scratch the back of my head, keeping my voice easy. All I know is my wife isn't in great shape. She needs someone to look after her, to take care of her properly. Everything else is secondary. The Empress goes still. Every carefully prepared word she had ready lodges in her throat. I reach into my robe and pull out a small paper packet. Inside are a few amber-colored candy drops. Made these while the medicine was simmering. Throat lozenges. Tell me if they are sweet enough. I pick one up and hold it naturally to her lips. Her mouth opens on instinct and takes it. The sweetness melts across her tongue with a faint, clean herbal finish. The color that rises in her cheeks is visible from a mile away. The serious mood dissolves in an instant. I grin. Good? She makes a muffled sound of confirmation around the candy. Those eyes that always carry such imperial authority, now just a little panicked. She seems like she wants to say something, so I pop another one in. Have more. Good for your throat. She is completely silenced by the second piece. All she can do is puff out her cheeks and glare. But there is not a shred of imperial dignity left in that look. More like a small creature being hand-fed. Yara has quietly turned her back to us at some point, shoulders trembling. I keep stirring the medicine and say casually, 1 bowl a day from now on, should be better within 3 months. She swallows the candy, her voice is very small. Why are you so good to me? I answer like it is the most obvious thing in the world. You are my wife, who else would I be good to? She goes quiet again, but I can hear her breathing deepen. In blind mode, I see that golden orb pulsing wildly. The pink rabbit is rolling around inside the light, ears shot straight up, absolutely beside itself. A long moment passes. Then quietly she says, after the banquet tonight, I have something to tell you. All right, I will be here. She turns and leaves quickly, her steps a little unsteady. I go back to tending the medicine, a smile on my face. That little rabbit is surprisingly shy. Once the medicine is done, I strain it carefully and pour it into a jade bottle. I ask Yara to deliver it to the Empress's chambers with instructions to drink it daily. Yara takes the bottle with an unreadable expression. My lord, you really are. She does not finish, but I understand. I wave her off and tell her to get going. The courtyard settles back into quiet. I sit down on the stone bench to rest. The system chimes again. Key emotional event detected for player. Quest list updated. Please review at your earliest convenience. I cannot be bothered right now. The quests are not going anywhere. My mind wanders instead to what the Empress plans to say tonight. Surely she is not about to confess everything? I have already guessed most of it anyway. But since she has not said it herself, I have been happy to pretend I do not know. Things are easier that way. Wankai wanders over and rubs against me. I scratch behind his ears. You better behave yourself tonight. No sneaking food when no one's looking. He whines in protest. I laugh and toss him a handful of dog chow, already looking forward to the evening, the banquet, and whatever comes after. Whatever she says, life goes on, and it only gets better from here. I hum a little tune as I get up from the bench. Yara has returned from the errand and stands quietly by the gate. I pat my stomach. Feels like this calls for a celebration. Before the banquet tonight, let's pick up some fresh ingredients. Yara, come with me. We are going to the market. I call into the house. Wenkai, you too. He rockets out of his kennel, tail going like a propeller. Yara answers softly, yes, my lord. And just like that, 1 man, 1 dog, and 1 sword immortal head out the door. The afternoon streets of the capital are alive with noise. Vendors calling out, children laughing, all of it blending into one warm hum. I walk slowly with my cane, in an unusually good mood. With blind mode on, I can sense the spiritual energy flowing around every person, each one carrying their own colored aura. Pale white for ordinary people, faint teal for low-rank cultivators. Occasionally, a brighter cluster passes, a government official. We keep walking, when an exasperated sigh drifts over from ahead. That voice, familiar, sounds like Chancellor Zheng. I turn my senses in that direction and sure enough, I pick up the aura that belongs to him. Dense with official energy, swirling intensely around a stone table. Across from it is a lively burst of orange, a child. Yara whispers beside me. The Chancellor is playing chess against a street kid. He has lost 3 games in a row. I nearly choke trying not to laugh. This man runs an empire and cannot beat a child at chess. As we get closer, I hear Chancellor Zheng's voice, stubborn and wounded. One more round. This old man refuses to believe it. The child's clear voice fires back. A promise is a promise, Grandpa. If you lose, you owe me a candied hawthorn skewer. I cannot help myself. Rough day at the board, old pal? Chancellor Zheng spins around, sees me, and his face goes through a whole emotional journey. He wants to look dignified. He also just lost to a child 3 times. Finally he manages, care to give it a try, my friend? I am out here to relax anyway, so I smile and agree. I settle onto the stone bench and close my eyes, activating blind mode. The board appears in my spiritual vision with perfect clarity, every piece glowing faintly. I can read the entire flow of the game, every shift in momentum. The child says proudly, "Your turn, blind uncle." I smile, feel for a piece, and place it. The moment it lands, the child goes quiet. Chancellor Zheng cannot contain himself. Brilliant. From there, every move I make looks casual, but always lands exactly where it matters most. The child gets more and more frantic, his little face turning red. Then I place the final stone, and the child bursts into tears. Blind uncle is a bully. Still sobbing, he remembers the stakes. I still want my skewer. Chancellor Zheng, in the best mood he has been in all day, pulls out his coin without hesitation. Buy you 2. The boy stops crying immediately, grabs both skewers and runs off laughing. The Chancellor turns to me, his voice full of genuine wonder. My friend, that was extraordinary. I wave it off modestly. Just lucky. In truth, playing in blind mode is no different from playing with perfect sight. While we are still talking, an official in plain clothes comes rushing over. He leans in and whispers something to Chancellor Zheng. The Chancellor's expression shifts immediately. He turns to me and bows. Forgive me, my friend, urgent business, we will continue another time. He leaves at a brisk pace. The moment he turns, I close my eyes and catch a glimpse of the note passed by the official. The spiritual energy radiating from it is off. Faint traces of blood and the edge of steel. A military dispatch from the northern border. But that is not my problem right now. I continue on with Yara and Wang Kai toward the market. Yara falls into step beside me and says quietly, "You seem to be in a good mood today, my lord." I smile. The weather is nice. Good weather puts me in a good mood. She goes quiet for a moment, then pulls a small notebook from her sleeve and scribbles a few words with a charcoal pencil. I ask curiously what she is writing. Yara, rarely flustered, snaps the notebook shut. Nothing, just some daily notes. In blind mode I can see the cover of that notebook. Emperor Consort Observation Journal, written in delicate script. The latest entry reads, "Today the Emperor Consort smiled like a cat who got the cream, clearly in an excellent mood." I keep a very straight face, playing completely oblivious. We walk on and reach my usual market stall. The vendor is an old acquaintance. We chatted about the situation at the northern border just the other time. He waves me over enthusiastically. Back again. Just got in some fresh spirit vegetables today. I pick out a few seasonal ones and grab a live fish for the evening. While I am paying, the vendor leans in and drops his voice. "Have you heard anything, sir? Word is the border's getting restless." I pause for just a moment, then answer calmly. "Court affairs? What would ordinary folk like us know?" The vendor laughs it off. Fair point. Shopping done, we head back. Passing a tea house, I hear a storyteller's booming voice inside, recounting how the Empress brought peace across the land after her coronation. I stop to listen for a moment. Yara asks softly, "Would you like to go in?" I shake my head. We need to get back and prepare. As I turn to leave, a group in traveling clothes steps out of the tea house, talking in low voices. What I catch makes me slow down. Troops moving at the northern border. Something is coming. The Empress's birthday banquet. Every faction in the realm gathered in one place. The perfect moment to strike. These people carry a sharp, hostile energy. Clearly not friendly travelers. Yara has already clocked them, hand drifting toward her sword hilt. I give a small shake of my head. Not yet. This is not the moment to tip them off. The group disappears around the corner, commit their spiritual signatures to memory, and make a mental note to stay alert for anything similar at the banquet. Back at the courtyard, I get to work on the ingredients. Yara helps prep. Wang Kai plants himself at the kitchen doorway, drooling. I chop vegetables and ask casually, "Yara, do you think tonight will go smoothly?" Yara answers without hesitation. "With you here, my lord, it will." "That's a lot of confidence you have in me, because you always find a way." That actually makes me blush a little. I change the subject fast. "Remind me tonight. The effects for Her Majesty need to go off on time." Yara notes it without a word. Just as the ingredients are nearly prepped, V comes rushing back in. She had gone for a final walkthrough of the banquet venue. She bursts through the door. "Everything is perfect. The workers are doing final adjustments as we speak." I nod and tell her she did well. V drifts over to the prep counter, eyes lighting up at the spread of ingredients. "Need any help?" I think about it and put her on plating duty. Her sense of style is actually good. The 3 of us and 1 dog work through the kitchen until dusk. As the sun dips below the horizon, everything is ready. I change into my new formal robe. Blind as I am, Yara says it suits me well. Wang Kai has even had a bath. His coat is gleaming. V has changed into a pale lavender dress. Less striking than usual, more refined. Yara stays in her plain white dress, sword on her back as always. We are just about to head out when there is a soft knock at the gate. Yara opens it and bows in surprise. Your Majesty! Empress Medusa stands at the door in casual clothes, no attendants behind her. I sense that her spiritual energy has softened slightly. The medicine is working. I was passing by. I will walk with you. I have no objection at all. And so, 4 people and 1 dog set off toward the Sky Palace. Along the way, the Empress walks beside me and occasionally gives me a quiet heads up. There's a step here. I can already see it perfectly in blind mode, but I let her guide me anyway. It is a nice feeling being looked after. As we near the Sky Palace, the Empress says suddenly, "After the banquet tonight, I will be waiting in the Imperial Garden." I nod. She pauses, then adds, "There are things I have wanted to say for a long time." I smile. As it happens, so do I. She seems to breathe a little easier after that, her steps a touch lighter. Yara and V trail behind us. They exchange a glance. Both find the same smile looking back. Wankai runs out in front of us, occasionally glancing back to make sure we are keeping up. The setting sun stretches our shadows long across the path, like a warm and ordinary painting of everyday life. But I know what moves beneath the calm. Tonight, whatever comes, this banquet has to go perfectly. It is my birthday gift to her. I stand in the side hall of the Sky Palace, straightening my robe. Yara murmurs beside me, "It is nearly time, my lord." I nod. I take a slow, steady breath. Ready. Then the system blares in my head, urgent and rapid. Final quest unlocked. Save the Empress and reveal the quest background. Large-scale enemy force detected. Rebel leader Zane is leading a force of 100,000 troops, already outside the city walls. Quest objective, protect the Empress. Declare your feelings publicly upon victory. Reward, permanent open-eye access. Blind mode, freely toggleable. I blink. My first thought, does this even count as saving her? Come on, system, she can handle this herself. Why drag me into it? The words barely leave my mouth when a dull horn blast sounds from outside the palace. Then a guard's panic shout, "Enemy attack! The rebels are at the walls!" The hall erupts into chaos. Guests scatter in every direction. Empress Medusa rises from her throne. Her face is ice cold. Her voice cuts through everything. "Imperial Guard Commander, where are you?" General Shu strides forward. "Here, Your Majesty, protecting you and meeting the enemy." He clasps his fists and marches out. I stand there with a helpless look on my face. Zane really has a talent for timing. Of all nights, a perfectly good birthday banquet ruined. The system chimes in again. Player has entered combat scenario. Battlefield analysis mode temporarily unlocked. Blind mode can now switch to battlefield analysis mode. I close my eyes and activate it. The entire city's spiritual energy unfolds before me. Outside the walls, a dense mass of blood-red spiritual energy is massing, the condensed killing intent of the rebel army. And deep within that red, one mass of energy stands out, black as ink, seething with resentment. That is Zane. I open my eyes and turn to Yara. "Yara, stay with the Empress." She looks at me with concern. "And you, my lord?" "I'm going to say hello to an old friend." I walk out with my cane. V pushes through the crowd to reach me, urgent. "Let me come with you. Stay inside, help keep order." She grits her teeth and follows anyway. We reach the plaza outside the palace. From the direction of the walls, war cries ring out. General Shu has the Imperial Guard deployed in formation already, but the rebels vastly outnumber them, and they have cultivators fighting alongside. The situation is not good. I close my eyes and scan the battlefield through blind mode. I find the problem almost immediately. Hidden within the rebel ranks are several powerful cultivators, working together to cast some kind of disruption formation. The defenders are rattled, their minds clouded, their combat strength cut in half. I say to V, "Do you see the ones in the gray robes?" She follows where I am pointing and spots 3 cultivators hanging back behind the rebel line. "Want me to take them out?" I shake my head. "I've got this." I pull the copper bell from my sleeve and give it a gentle shake. It rings out, clear and bright, amplified by spiritual energy until it reaches every corner of the battlefield. It cuts straight through the 3 cultivators casting. They look up, startled. I close my eyes, lock onto their positions, and do something very simple. I raise my hand and snap my fingers. In blind mode, I watch 3 threads of sword energy shoot from my fingertips and strike each of the 3 cultivators directly in their core nexus. They cry out and drop. The formation shatters. The defenders' morale surges. General Shu seizes the moment and launches a counterattack, but the rebel numbers are simply too great. The walls are cracking in multiple places. Then Zane appears on the battlements, laughing like a man unhinged. "Medusa! Today is the day you die." The Empress has made her way to the plaza without my noticing. She stands beside me, perfectly composed. "My dear minister, any ideas?" Before I can answer, the system cuts in. Player can utilize blind mode to channel the city's spiritual energy into a defensive barrier. Recommend using the spiritual nexus points from the birthday banquet layout. My eyes light up. That is a great idea. I close my eyes immediately and push blind mode to full power. Every spiritual nexus in the city lights up before me. Every lantern formation set up for the banquet, now transformed into the perfect foundation for a barrier. I channel all of it toward the walls. A transparent wall of energy materializes outside the city. Rebel strikes hit it and ripple outward harmlessly. Nothing gets through. Zane loses his mind. He bites through his own tongue, spitting a mouthful of blood, using a forbidden technique to force his cultivation higher. His black spiritual energy balloons outward, and the barrier begins to crack under the pressure. I frown. This guy is not holding anything back. Just as I am trying to think of a counter, Wankai bolts from my feet. He charges to the center of the plaza and lets out a howl. Not a dog's howl, something ancient and commanding. Every eye on the plaza watches as his body begins to glow and expand. In moments he becomes a golden beast, 3 stories tall, twin horns crowning its head, scales like armor across its body, all 4 hooves wreathed in roaring flame. This is the heaven-scorching Keelan's true form. He glances over at me and speaks, in a human voice. Kid, hand the barrier over to me. Go deal with that clown. I blink, then nod. Deal. The Keelan raises his head and fires a pillar of golden light straight into the barrier, reinforcing it beyond anything Zane can break. At the same moment Yara moves. Her sword clears the scabbard, sword intent blazes skyward. She becomes a streak of blue light cutting through the rebel army, enemies falling behind her like harvested wheat. Chancellor Zheng appears out of nowhere, ledger in hand, and bellows, Zane, your entire grain stockpile has been seized by this official. The families of your generals are all in our custody. Surrender. Now. That hits harder than any blade. The rebel ranks erupt in confusion. Soldiers hesitate. Some start pulling back. Zane sees it, and completely snaps. He screams and launches himself from the battlements, hurling straight toward where the Empress is standing. I let out a slow breath. My turn. I close my eyes and bring up blind mode. Every move Zane makes is mapped in real time. His body has 13 spiritual circulation points. Disrupt just 3 of them, and his cultivation collapses entirely. I stroll forward with my cane, casually like I am going nowhere in particular, and step right into Zane's path. He swings his blade down with a vicious grin, every last bit of his power behind it. I sidestep. The cane taps, light as a feather. First strike, the spiritual point at his wrist. The blade flies from his grip. Second strike, the core nexus. Every current of energy in his body seizes. Third strike, the point between his brows. Zane locks up completely. Disbelief floods his eyes. How? I pull the cane back. You cannot play chess. You cannot fight. And as a person, a complete disaster. He opens his mouth, then drops. With their commander down, the rebel army collapses. The Imperial Guard presses the advantage and takes control in short order. The entire battle lasts less than half an hour. I release blind mode and open my eyes. Still darkness, of course, but the cheers around me are loud and clear. General Shu strides over and claps me hard on the shoulder. That's my guy. I stagger. Easy, these old bones can only take so much. The Empress steps over to me. Thank you, she says quietly. I feel a little embarrassed and scratch the back of my head. Don't thank me, it's nothing. The system chimes right on cue. Empress crisis resolved. Quest completion 80%. Player is urged to complete the public declaration at the earliest opportunity. My eye twitches. The system never lets up. But it is not wrong. Every set of eyes in the plaza is already on us. I take a deep breath and turn toward where I know the Empress is standing. I cannot see her, but I can feel exactly where she is. Your Majesty, this official has something to say. I clear my throat, genuinely nervous. The plaza goes completely silent. Every person in the crowd turns to look. Empress Medusa answers softly, Go ahead, my dear minister. The system is screaming in my head. Say it. Say it. I take one more breath. My voice is calm, not loud, but clear. Your Majesty, is it possible for this official to take on a side role as Emperor Consort? The entire crowd draws a single collective breath. I hurry to add, mainly because I want to cook for you, legally, for the rest of my life. Even as I say it, I realize how ridiculous that sounds. But it is exactly what I mean. The Empress is silent, long enough that I start to wonder if I have made her angry. Then I hear her voice, warm with a smile, thick with something like tears. Granted. 2 words. The weight of a mountain. The plaza holds its breath, then erupts. General Shu is first. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations, Emperor Consort. Chancellor Zheng strokes his beard with a pleased smile. 2 joyful occasions in one night. Yara says quietly beside me. Congratulations, my lord. V claps happily. Wang Kai is shifted back to his small form. He mutters beside me, just loud enough for me to hear. Finally, I, your lord, was getting anxious on your behalf. The system chimes right on cue. Congratulations, player, on completing the public declaration. All final quests complete. Distributing rewards now. Achievement unlocked, Silent Ascension. Reward, permanent skill, eyes open blind mode. Freely toggle between open and closed. When eyes are open, full vision of the real world. Spiritual vision fully retained. When eyes are closed, all original blind mode functions restored. I pause for a moment. That actually sounds pretty good. I try it, silently say the word open. The darkness that had held for 18 years shatters in an instant. Light floods in. I see the sky palace, vast and towering. I see the faces around me, everyone smiling. I see the Empress, her phoenix eyes faintly red. In her golden ceremonial dress, she is breathtaking. A tear still clings to the corner of her eye. I also see Yara, cool and composed as always, but with a faint smile. V is excitedly talking at whoever is nearest. Chancellor Zhang and General Shu are exchanging congratulations. Wang Kai sits on the ground, tail moving like a fan. Every person glows with their own spiritual aura, the real world and my spiritual vision layering over each other in a way that makes me a little dizzy. The Empress sees my eyes open and covers her mouth. Your eyes, I smile and shake my head. I can see, but I might still close them. She seems to understand. Her face opens into a smile. Either way, it is a good thing. I look around slowly, taking in every face and committing it to memory. Then I close my eyes. The world goes dark again. Familiar, clear. Being blind is just more comfortable. Too much light all at once makes me dizzy. I mutter quietly. The Empress laughs softly. Suit yourself. General Shu leans in with his usual volume. Tonight we drink until we cannot stand. Victory banquet and engagement celebration in one. Chancellor Zheng, for once, agrees. Indeed, tonight deserves a toast. And so a rushed but magnificent celebration begins. Workers scramble to reset the venue. The fallen soldiers are honored and cared for. Rebel prisoners are marched to the cells. Zane is stripped of his cultivation and held separately, awaiting trial. At the banquet, I sit beside the Empress. Eyes closed, as always. But I feel everything. Officials come forward one after another to offer toasts. I return everyone with tea. V sneaks in beside me and whispers, "Can you really see now?" I nod, then shake my head. I can, I just don't want to. She makes a thoughtful sound, then brightens. So I don't have to act like a proper lady anymore? I laugh. So you have been acting this whole time. Yara walks over with her cup. My lord, a toast. Take it and drink it in one go. She hesitates, then adds, do you want to read the journal? I wave my hands immediately. Keep it, it's yours. She visibly relaxes. Wang Kai ambles over. He headbutts my hand. I scratch his head. Why not change back? He grumbles. Changing back is too conspicuous. Being a dog is just easier. Also, my dog Chow genuinely slaps. I laugh and toss him a handful of my special blend. The Empress leans her head toward me. Thank you for everything today. I shake my head. Thank you for letting me mooch meals off you for the rest of my life. She laughs. In that case, the Imperial Kitchen is yours. I pat my chest. Leave it to me. The banquet runs deep into the night before the guests finally drift home. The Empress must return to deal with post-battle affairs. As she leaves, she says quietly, our Imperial Garden meeting. Let's make it another time. I agree. It is past midnight by the time I return to the courtyard. Yara helps me inside, then withdraws. I sit alone on the stone bench and try opening my eyes again. In the moonlight, the courtyard is quiet and beautiful. The spirit herbs glow faintly in the darkness. I see the world I could only sense before, real and vivid. But it really is too much light. I close my eyes. The familiar dark returns, richer and clearer than it ever was before. The system speaks. Is the player satisfied with the final reward? I ask right back, did it know all along this would happen? A brief pause. This system exists only to help the player find the path that suits them best. The path has been found. The system will now enter dormant mode. Call upon it whenever needed. I nod and say thank you. I do not know if it can understand, but the gratitude is real. The next day, life seems to settle back to normal, but nothing is quite the same. Every day, I head to the Imperial Kitchen to work on new recipes. While the Empress reviews her memorials, I sit beside her. Sometimes I slip into blind mode just to check on her little spiritual rabbit. It is healthy and lively now, every dark thread long gone. Yara continues as my guard and personal attendant, but now the entire capital knows who she stands beside. No one dares treat her lightly. V has been officially moved to the Ministry of Rites, in charge of planning our wedding ceremony. She thrives in the role and loves every minute of it. Chancellor Zhang and General Shu drop by often, one to play chess, the other to drink. I am always sitting there with my eyes closed, but neither of them minds. Wang Kai is still Wang Kai. Eat, sleep, repeat. General Shu teases him sometimes, and he bares his teeth in indignation, but he never shifts back to his true form. Says being a dog is just faster. 1 month later, the Empress issues a formal decree. I am named the heaven-leveling Emperor Consort to rule alongside her. When the decree is read aloud, I am simmering a broth. The eunuch sent to deliver it finds me tasting for salt. I receive the decree and go right back to stirring. The eunuch stares in absolute disbelief. The wedding is set for 3 months out. V barely touches the ground. Yara gets pulled in to help too. I somehow end up being the least busy person involved. My days are cooking and walking Wang Kai. Occasionally I show up at court, flip on blind mode to read which officials are up to something, and then casually call them out. The guilty ones break into cold sweats. Time passes quietly like this, until one day the Empress asks me in the Imperial study, don't you want to know what I meant to say that night? I'm peeling an orange for her. You will say it when you are ready. She is quiet for a moment, then begins softly. I have known for a long time that you are not truly blind. I just never knew what you could see. And I know about the system, because I have one too. Mine is called the Empress Cultivation System. Its task, how to be a good ruler. My hands go still. So we are in the same line of work. She nods, then shakes her head. Yours has more heart than mine. Mine only issues governance tasks, and penalizes failure. I smile and hand her the orange. Then I will help you complete them from now on. She takes it, and smiles. Deal. A few more days pass. Yara comes looking for me, and holds out a bound booklet. My lord, this is the journal, properly compiled. I thought perhaps you might want to read it. I take it. The first page covers her observations from the first time she watched me practice sword forms. Flipping through, I find entry after entry. How I cook, how I walk Wang Tai, how I talk to people. In her words, I am someone who seems to know everything and nothing at once, always sitting there with eyes shut, yet seeing more clearly than anyone. I close the booklet and hand it back. Well written, but no more entries. She nods, face red. Then word finally comes about V's brother. We found him, the child from back then. He is alive, taken in by a farming family, now a sturdy young man. V collapses into tears the moment she sees him. The boy doesn't know her, but he is willing to call her his sister. I help them settle in the capital. From that day on, V throws herself into her work with twice the dedication. One afternoon, over a chess game, Chancellor Zheng suddenly says, "The threat at the border has been resolved, thanks in no small part to your early warning, my friend." That brings back the memory of the blood-tinged note from that day on the street. He had already been preparing. That is what turned the tide. General Shu tells me separately that Zane has lost his mind in prison. He mutters endlessly, "Impossible, impossible." I just shake my head. Should have thought of that sooner. On the day of the wedding, the whole city celebrates. I wear the ceremonial robes of the emperor consort. The empress wears her phoenix crown and bridal dress. We stand side by side and accept the bows of the people. She whispers, "Nervous?" "A little. More than you, actually." After the ceremony, we return to the chambers. She removes her crown and says softly, "This whole journey, it feels like a dream." My eyes are closed, but I know her expression. I answer honestly, "Not a dream. It is real, and it will keep going." She leans her head on my shoulder and lets out a soft sound of agreement. Outside, the full moon hangs high, the stars blazing. Life continues like this. Every morning I wake early and make breakfast. When the Empress leaves for court, I take Wang Tai for a walk in the Imperial Garden. Sometimes I watch Yara practice her sword forms and offer a pointer or two. I don't use a sword myself, but I can read her openings. V keeps coming by to report on wedding follow-to up matters. The wedding is already over, of course. She just wants an excuse to visit. Chancellor Zheng and General Shu still drop by regularly. One always loses at chess, the other always drinks too much. They leave every time, blaming each other. Wang Kai has recently developed a passion for chasing butterflies. With his level of power, he could catch one in a single swipe, but he insists on flopping around like any ordinary dog. Says he is experiencing life. I open my eyes sometimes to look at the world, then close them again quickly. Light is nice enough, but the dark feels like home. And in blind mode, I see something truer, the flow of spiritual energy, the warmth and coldness between people, things that eyes alone can never fully show. The Empress has fully recovered. The cold ailment has not returned once. When she works through state affairs, I sit nearby and brew tea. I offer suggestions now and then, most of them half-baked, but she always considers them seriously. We keep each other company, like this, through one ordinary day after another. Until one day I am sitting there feeding Wang Kai with my eyes closed, the Empress leaning against me as she works through her documents, Yara practicing her sword in the distance, Chancellor Jing and General Shu arguing again, this time about whether to repair the waterways first or reinforce the city walls. I listen to all of it, and I feel completely full. This life, whether my eyes are open or closed, has always been full of light.